Start putting a spotlight on all these missing and murdered Indigenous men. There's so many people going missing. There's so much young kids. There's so much elders.
Thousands of people are reported missing each year. One of those people is Rhonda Running Bird.
And the family is still waiting for some answers.
We've learned a Canadian woman is missing.
Family says they have done all that was in their hands to find their loved one.
I just want him to make it home to us.
Pleading for help.
Starlight Tours is a phrase coined by the residents of Saskatoon. Police in Saskatoon would find drunken Native American teens and make it seem like they were detaining them. In reality, however, they would drop them off in a field far away from any civilization, leading them to freeze to death or die of hunger. They decided to call it this as the police would take these teenagers and drive them on, quote-unquote, a tour under the stars. There has been many instances of this happening, leading to multiple deaths, including the most well-known death and the first in this series of murders, Neil Stonechild.
The government owes it to its people to search the landfills.
A wave of red shirts and dresses made its way across the country today in solidarity.
Search the landfill! Search the landfill!
As premiers met with Indigenous leaders in Winnipeg.
Our women deserve more. We don't belong. We're not
we
garbage.
have to make what is very, very difficult decisions. Manitoba's premier seemed to be moved, but was unswayed. We cannot ignore the complexity of the issue and the objective viability of other considerations, things like toxic and hazardous wastes that are in the landfill.
Jenna Osberg, Corey Bolesky, and Mackenzie Munoz all died in Thunder Bay, but their families say they don't trust the Thunder Bay police to investigate the deaths of their loved ones.
As a parent, we remember the day our child was born. And unfortunately for some of us here today, there's another day that we'll never forget, and that's the day our child was taken from us. The day we bury our child.
Years are going by. Cases are being reinvestigated, case after case. Oh, and community trust. How are we doing with community trust? You would have to actually be blind to what's going on around you to trust the Thunder Bay Police Service with an Indigenous death. You would have to be blind.
All three families say they don't feel their loved ones' cases have been taken seriously and that there's been a lack of communication from the Thunder Bay Police.
Joyce Echaquan's husband, Carol Dubé, is still looking for answers. Piece by piece, the coroner's inquiry is trying to shed light on what happened at the Joliet Hospital last fall. Today, testimony from a key witness, a nurse heard berating Echaquan as she live-streamed it. That's just one of the comments on the video. The nurse, whose name is under a publication ban, told the inquiry she was overworked, stressed, and hit a breaking point. She broke down in tears as she apologized to Echaquan's family. "I admit it's appalling," she said. "I can't watch the video. I hear so much anger in my voice."
Quebec's police watchdog has been asked to investigate a police killing of a woman by an officer in the Edmundston, New Brunswick police force. First Nations groups have identified the woman as Chantal Moore. Police say they were responding to a request for a wellness check, and the officer who showed up encountered a woman holding a knife and making threats.
She was a very lovely young woman. She was always happy, always bubbly, and never ever knew her to be aggressive in any way.
Answers.
1, finding out the truth. 2, honoring that truth. And the third piece, giving life to that truth. So that, to me, is complete justice.
The Nachalnith Tribal Council is calling for an immediate, independent investigation to provide just that. The 26-year-old Moore, originally from British Columbia, was shot by an officer performing a wellness check. Edmundston police have handed the investigation off to Quebec's police watchdog.
I'm here at a hotel in Miramichi, New Brunswick, where the coroner's inquest of the police shooting of Rodney Levi is being held. Levi, 48 years old, of the Metapanagiyag First Nation, was shot by an RCMP officer June 12, 2020, at the home of a pastor about 33 kilometers from Miramichi. The officer, Scott Haight, who first arrived at the scene and fatally shot Levi, was the first to testify. He said he was not trained to use a taser and did not believe more training for RCMP officers is needed. Becky Levi, Rodney's Leaf, was appalled.
I just wanted to shake him like, this is a human being. Rodney is gone forever. And you just can't admit you should have had
the son here for Anna Mae, because her name was Nagu Sedebi. So I put the son there. And this big fiddlehead here represents Anna Mae. And the little fiddleheads are her two daughters.
Indigenous people and allies from all over the state gathered outside the Capitol Tuesday to mark California's first ever Missing and Murdered Indigenous People Day of Action.
Today, as you see the red dresses hung throughout General Headquarters, it is a reminder of the love of the families and communities that grieve for the missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls.
We started today putting out red dresses starting from the Harbor Britain Highway. The first one is on the yield sign that's got Chantel's name on it and the eagle feather. When Chantel comes home, we want her to pass through that corridor of red dresses and to always remind us of what we've lost and what we gain. We gain the family coming together to look after each other and love each other, and let her passing be that legacy of bringing us all together.
Every single day. I don't want to think about Pickton every day.
But Michelle Pinault is forced to think about the man who killed her daughter, Stephanie Lane. Her DNA found in the pig farm of serial killer Robert Pickton. On Thursday, he will be eligible to apply for day parole.
In the wilds of Canada,
she sticks her thumb out and then she's never heard again.
There's a lonely highway.
Something went very wrong that night.
Daughters are going missing. And the forest hides a mystery.
A serial killer or a group of killers.
What kind of monster is driving the Highway of Tears?